All right, everyone. Good evening. This is Dr. Shiva. Today, we're going to have a conversation in our pet health series. A lot of you have asked about me doing a whole series on pet health and a systems approach to that. So we're going to continue that series with the discussion today on a very, very important nutrient that's called turmeric. And turmeric, as you can see here, is a powerful herb that also has valuable things for pet immune and joint health. We're going to look at both, and we're going to look at a whole systems approach, but we're going to look at its power on immune health, and we're going to take a whole systems approach to it. That's what we're going to do today. And as a part of this, I want to just let everyone know that everything we do at our movement, that you can see right here, Truth, Freedom, Health, is to teach people how to think from a systems approach. So you can think from a systems approach to look at your body as a system, politics as a system, everything in the world as a system, your pet as a system, and then you can start figuring out what are the right things in a particular situation, be it in a political situation, be it in a relationship situation, be it for your body, etc. And that's what we focus on at Truth, Freedom, Health. We teach you the science of systems. So before I start, I want to give you a preview into my journey into systems science by playing a quick video. And then we'll be back. We're going to talk about turmeric as a part of our whole systems approach for pets. Welcome to VA Shiva. VA Shiva is a product of my journey across East and West, science and tradition, ancient and modern, that brings you the science of systems so you can become a force for truth, freedom, health. VA Shiva is a platform of revolutionary education, community building, and weaponry for unleashing local activism. My journey to VA Shiva begins in the chaos of Bombay, where I experienced diverse religions, languages, castes, and in a small village that had no running water, no electricity, where my grandmother, a poor village farmer, practiced Siddha, an ancient system of Indian medicine over 10,000 years old. She observed one's face, the art of Samudrika Lakshanam, to understand a body's unique constitution, allowing her to deliver the right medicine for the right person at the right time. Watching my grandmother heal others, I was inspired to study medicine, but I was also aware of the corrupt caste system of India, which denigrated a human being, where my family were considered low-caste untouchables, where one's birth determined one's destiny. The grit and determination of my mother and father led them to get educated and to come to America, a 1 in a trillion event. Their actions inspired me to work hard and excel. While in 9th grade, I attended New York University in a computer science program, and subsequently, at the age of 14, was given a full-time job as a research fellow at what is now known as Rutgers Medical School in the heart of Newark, New Jersey. There, I investigated the system of sleep using mathematics, computer science, and biology for sudden infant death syndrome. It was there in Newark where I invented email, when I was the first to convert every feature of the physical, paper-based inter-office mail system, including inbox, outbox, memo, carbon copy, blind carbon copy, attachments, into its electronic equivalent, a system which I named email, a term that I was the first to coin. On August 30th, 1982, I was awarded the first U.S. copyright for the invention of this system, recognizing me as the inventor of email. At that time, copyright was the only way to protect software inventions. I went on to MIT, where I earned 4 degrees across multiple systems of engineering: electrical, mechanical, design, biological. That training led me to invent many other systems for advancing humankind. EchoMail, the world's first intelligent email management system. CytoSolve, a computational biology system for eliminating animal testing to discover new medicines faster, cheaper, and safer. And to the creation of a whole systems methodology for certifying clean food. These innovations led me back on a Fulbright to India, where I discovered the missing link between Eastern medicine and Western systems theory, honoring my grandmother, to develop Your Body, Your System, a powerful tool that will help you understand how your body is a system and how the inputs of food, supplements, and exercise bring your body back to its natural system state. And Systems Health, an integrative educational discipline that is now integrated into the VA Shiva platform that will enable you to learn the science of systems, the science of everything, be it your body as a system or our society and politics as a system, to reveal the foundational interrelationships between truth, freedom, health. Now is the time for you to be the light, learn the science of systems, build community, and weaponize yourself to unleash the activism necessary to deliver truth, freedom, health in your local community. Welcome to VA Shiva. All right, everyone, welcome back to our talk today. And we're going to be talking about turmeric's effect on pet, particularly pet health. And as many of you know, we do a lot of research in our, as a part of our CytoSolve, as a part of our Truth and Science initiative, to really apply systems approaches to find out what's right for every system. And today we're going to talk about pets. You know, I have two pets right here, Geronimo and Sequoia. They're running around the office. But all of us care for our pets. And it's really important to understand that the system of health that we need to support our pets, we need to take a whole systems approach. So let me just jump right in, and we're going to talk about pet health, okay? So first of all, any of the content here in this presentation is not intended to be a substitute for your professional veterinarian advice. It's not a diagnosis. You should always seek the advice of your veterinarian, as the disclaimer says. So over the last couple of months, we've been doing a pet health series as a part of a very powerful set of nutrients we put together in K9-701 as a part of a whole systems approach. And what we uncovered was, through the use of CytoSolve, and I'll tell you what CytoSolve is, that there's a need for synergy. Synergy is a principle where you recognize not any one thing is going to solve it. There's no magic bullet to health. There's no magic bullet to understanding, to solving a problem in any system. So here we've looked at a multi-systems approach. We've looked at compounds like hyaluronic acid, like MSM that I discussed recently. We've looked at Indian herbs like turmeric and fenugreek. We've looked at, sea vegetation like kelp, algae like spirulina, diatomaceous clay, raspberry leaf, a whole bunch of different kinds of herbs, including red raspberry leaf and hawthorn leaf. And in combination, these things have a powerful synergistic effect. And we've put that into a very interesting combination of ingredients we've come out with, which we call K9-701. And today we're going to talk about turmeric. And that's what we're going to focus on. Many of you may have heard of turmeric. You may have heard of curcumin. But we're going to really talk about how turmeric is one of the components of this very powerful whole health supplement for pets. So first of all, we need to understand, how does turmeric from K9-701 affect pet health? First of all, what is turmeric? Well, turmeric is a widely used medicinal plant. The use of turmeric dates back to nearly 4,000 years. Now, it's traditionally used for all sorts of things, disorders of the skin, upper respiratory tract, joints, as well as digestive system. And it's derived from the root. It's actually, to be specific, it's a rhizome from Curcuma longa, which is a plant from the ginger family. So if you look at the roots, when you pull up this very green stalk, there are rhizomes hanging off it, and that's what turmeric is. And it's generally recognized as safe, GRAS, by the FDA. That means grass. And it contains lots of chemical compounds. Now, the active compounds in turmeric are turmerones, which is about 3 to 5% of the rhizome, and curcuminoids, which is another 2%. The biological effects of turmeric are quite broad, from antioxidant to anti-inflammatory to anti-carcinogenic to anti-mutagenic to anti-proliferative, cardioprotective, hepatoprotective, and neuroprotective. Cardio is heart, hepato is liver, and neuro is brain. Particularly in the area of cancer, it ensures that the proliferation of cancer is mitigated. And as you can see from this diagram, the places that turmeric hits in your body, which is the targets in your body, are quite broad also. And obviously also for animals, pets. So it hits enzyme targets, it hits transcription factors, apoptotic regulators, which are things that ensure cell death takes place. In cancer, for example, cells don't die as they should. It hits receptors. It hits adhesion molecules, kinases, inflammatory cytokines, a whole bunch of others, okay, growth factors. But these what you see in the outer circle there these are chemicals or places in your body that when curcumin hits, it causes a molecular reaction. So there's over 100 different molecular targets and many, many different types of targets. So again, when you look at this, it almost seems like we should all be taking turmeric because the body is waiting for it in some sense. There's so many molecular targets. For 4,000 years, the Indians have included this in diet. The health benefits are, again, quite broad, as you can see. Skin health, brain health, joint health, liver health, heart health, digestive health, wound care, immune health, reproductive health, and respiratory health. That's Geronimo. He's enjoying this discussion. He's giving us feedback. Now, the turmerones are volatile essential oils, okay? And you can see in turmeric, there's different turmerones. There's AR turmerone, there's alpha turmerone, and there's beta turmerone. And you can see the different chemical structures. As I mentioned, they constitute about up to 5% of turmeric. There are also curcuminoids, and these are phenolic compounds, where these are volatile essential oils. These are phenolic compounds, and they they consist of about 3 to 4% of turmeric. And you can see there's curcumin 1 or cur1, methoxycurcumin, cur2, and dimethoxycurcumin, that's cur3. So you have 3 different types of curcuminoids. So when people say, oh, I take curcumin, the issue is which curcumin are they talking about? There's different curcuminoids within turmeric. Now, for pet health, we want to focus on the immune system. Now, the typical model of the immune system that you've probably heard about is a pathogen, which could be an antigen. It could be on the surface of a virus or fungus or bacteria. We have the innate immune system. So when your body first recognizes this foreign substance, your innate immune system reacts. And then a few hours later, minutes later, the adaptive immune system reacts, which creates antibodies. So this is a classic 2-compartment model of the immune system. Unfortunately, this is at least about 150 years old. And this is the problem that I have because my research has revealed that the immune system is far more complex. This is why during the quote-unquote pandemic, I was very clear that it was really about boosting the immune system. The immune system really consists of many other subsystems, which I've discussed in many of the other videos. Now, when you look at the typical immune response, which is from the innate immune system, step 1 is that the innate immune system, like the macrophages, try to eat up the infectious agent, as you can see, and that's called phagocytosis. And then the second part of it is step 2 is that antigen presentation is done, which is part of the adaptive immune system, okay? That occurs within the innate immune system, but that leads to the adaptive immune system. In the adaptive immune system, the whole goal here is your body is going to produce antibodies. I've done many, many videos on this, but fundamentally, whereas the innate immune system is just trying to take it out in a non-targeted way, the adaptive immune system for that specific antigen, in this case, you're looking at the surface protein of the virus, it attempts to use the cellular structure of B cells and T cells to create a particular antibody, which has memory. So the next time, if that antigen ever comes, your body knows how to react, okay? Now, the interferon system that I've talked about that was part of my PhD work at MIT really is another complete system that most medical doctors, most people they know about it, but they don't know the importance of it. It's a fundamental system in the immune system. And the interferon system is critical because it's the middleware between the innate and the adaptive. All right, so we have to understand, bottom line, the immune system is more complex than what they came out in 1915. Now, the health benefits of turmeric are quite broad when it comes to immune health. The curcumin in turmeric modulates the immune system, the immune cells, and the immune cytokines from the innate as well as the adaptive immune system through really 2 methods: anti-oxidative properties and anti-inflammatory properties. You've probably heard of this thing called the cytokine storm that your dogs can also, or your pets, can undergo. If their immune systems are weak, the immune system overreacts. Now, if you support their immune system with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory, inputs, it's going to give you immunomodulation. So curcumin mitigates allergy and asthma, right? So you don't overreact, okay? So one needs to understand it is not these antigens are coming in and eating you up, but is the overreaction of the immune system. So curcumin really mitigates several autoimmune diseases, metabolic diseases through the modulation of the immune system. How does it do this? So at the innate level, curcumin, you can see this molecule. What it does is it augments the cytotoxicity, which means the killing capacity of the killer cells. So it supports your natural killer cells. That's a green line. It supports your macrophages, right? But it also lowers the oxidative stress created by inflammatory macrophages, right? So your M1 macrophages create inflammation, okay? And it knocks that down. So it's sort of got a 1-2 punch. It supports the natural killer cells in the M2 macrophages, but it also lowers the oxidative stress created by the inflammatory M1 macrophages. So curcumin is very, very nice in supporting the innate immune system. It also supports the adaptive immune system in 2 ways, okay? First of all, it suppresses the activation of what you can see IL-2 here, okay, which is a cytokine, and it suppresses the proliferation of Th1 cells by inhibiting IL-2, which is important. It also suppresses the proliferation of Th17 cells by also inhibiting IL-2. So what this does, it really, these are pro-inflammatory events, and you don't want that to occur. But on the other hand, it stimulates the proliferation of antibody-producing B cells via the suppression of oxidative stress. So again, it positively supports your creation of antibodies, and then on the other side, it inhibits these it inhibits IL-2, okay, which is pro-inflammatory. The other thing is, turmeric really modulates the inflammatory cytokines. Again, you don't want to have the cytokine storm, nor do you want to have the pets have the cytokine storm. And you can see IL-2, TNF-alpha, IL-6, and IL-1 beta. These are very, very powerful cytokines, which lead to the cytokine storm, and curcumin inhibits that. And then it also inhibits COX-2, which leads to inflammation. Again, inflammation and the cytokine storm are not good things to have. And if you can modulate them, you're supporting the immune system. When it comes to allergies, if you think about skin allergies your pets have, respiratory allergies, right? Again, curcumin blocks, as you can see, IL-2, GM, CSF, IL-5, and IL-4, which lead to respiratory issues like asthma. And it also blocks oxidative stress, which leads to allergies, okay? All sorts of allergies in the system. So again, another very powerful effect of curcumin. So in summary, turmeric activates the innate cells of the immune system. That's the first thing. It supports and inhibits inflammatory enzymes, such as COX-2 and the inflammatory cytokines involved in the cytokine storm. So it's like shock absorbers for your immune system. So your immune system properly modulates itself and supports your pet health, obviously. And the turmeric also mitigates allergic reactions. I was speaking to my vet recently, and he was saying most dogs and most pets are very, very allergic to a lot of the, most of the poultry products, because it's not the poultry in and itself, but what is the poultry being fed these days, okay? GMO soy, etc. So, pets have all sorts of allergic reactions from the time the pet eats something and it goes through its system. So again, if you want to modulate that, again, turmeric is a very, very powerful input to do that. The other piece is turmeric really improves outcomes for diseases affected by immune systems, such as autoimmune, cardiovascular diseases, and neurodegenerative diseases. You can find K9-701 right up on our shop. And before I go to that, I'll come back to that where you can get it. Everything that we do is we take a systems approach. Recently, about a year ago, we use the same systems approach from the technology I created called CytoSolve, which we're now going to make accessible. I'll be talking more about it through our CytoSolve Open Science Institute. But we've also used this technology, and I'll come back to K9-701 to really support human, immune response and joint health. And I'll play a quick video so you'll understand what is CytoSolve, but you'll also understand that the same technology, in addition to pets, has been used to support humans. Let me play that and I'll be right back to finish up K9-701 and turmeric.
Millions of people suffer every day from painful discomfort and swelling, but most pain medications come with harsh side effects, and many alternative supplements have little scientific backing. That's why we at CytoSolve created MV25. MV25 was formulated using the CytoSolve Computational Systems Biology Platform, a technology for precision and personalized health invented by Dr. Shiva during his doctoral research at MIT. This formulation is the result of computing trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions derived from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers published across 4 decades by 68 research institutions to discover an optimal synergy of compounds that downregulate biomarkers of discomfort and normal swelling.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet, and they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids. And I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand. Very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days, the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
MV25 is certified clean, 100% non-GMO, made in America, and GMP certified for good manufacturing practices. MV25 is CytoSolve optimized, which means that this formula has been engineered to maximize benefits while minimizing toxicity based on current research curated by CytoSolve. As the science advances, so will this formulation. This is our promise. Order online at mv25.life. Consult your doctor before taking any supplement or medication and use as directed. MV25.
All right, guys, I accidentally forgot to stream out on YouTube, so let people know. So I'm going to do a call and take a couple of questions, but before I do that, where do you get K9-701? Again, let me finish K9-701. When you look at it, it consists of a number of very, very important things. By the way, it's about a teaspoon you can give to a 25-pound dog. You know, our dog's about 100 pounds. They take 4 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons. We mix it in with their food. But the K9-701 is not only for one subsystem, it has many powerful values for multiple subsystems. That's why it's a whole systems approach here. Heart health, skin health, brain health, anti-parasitic, bone health, metabolic health, immune health, joint health. And again, it includes many, many different components that I've discussed. So what I want to do is, some of you have really enjoyed, so we discussed turmeric today, but many of you have asked, you want to do questions, Q&A, so we can do that here. I'm going to post a banner here that you can call in onto our line. You can call in at 857-997-9545. We have a new tool that we have that we're using that will allow us to take your calls, okay? So we can take calls coming in if people are interested in making a call. So if you want, we'll take a couple of minutes, or I'll look right on here and we'll take comments here, right here. So someone says, can I get this in UK? Yes. By the way, we manufacture everything using a local partner. It's made in the United States, K9-701. And then you can also get it right here in the United States, and we'll ship it to anywhere on the planet. Let me just give everyone where everyone's asking where you can get it. Well, you can go to vashiva.com. And if you go on vashiva.com, I got to find the shop here. And if you go to the shop, you can find K9-701. I'll put the link in. But it's really a food in many ways, right? It's a whole health supplement. Again, obviously, you should talk to your vet, etc., before you give your dog anything. It's just an important disclaimer. But this is where you can get it. There you go. So I just put the link to it so people can go get it where they want. Let's see if anyone. So we've set up a call-in so people can call if they want, or you can ask any questions on anything that I've discussed on turmeric, etc. All right. Someone says, great product, also reduces negative symptoms. Yeah, so this is on MV25. Someone says, great product, also reduces negative symptoms from menstrual cycle. Bravo, Dr. Shiva, bright star in the dark world. Thank you. Someone says, I take turmeric daily. Great. So someone says, my dog constantly bites and scratches her tail. What could this be? Obviously, your dog's having some type of allergic reaction. It also could be something, again, you should talk to your veterinarian, having to do with some stress, okay? Or something else going on in your house. Our dogs recently had that about a year ago. Our male dog in particular, because he's very, very emotional, and we'd gone away for about 6 weeks. So obviously he was a little bit upset, okay? So dogs are, they all have different personalities. No one of them is the same. They're, as different as human beings. All right. Someone says, is it best to take curcumin or turmeric or curcumin? So look, curcumin, as I mentioned, is the active ingredient, the compound within turmeric. Okay, it's the active ingredient. That's what curcumin is. And there's many different types of curcuminoids. Turmeric is a whole plant. Okay, turmeric is a whole plant, and the important thing to understand is that herbs, the bioavailability of the key compounds varies based on what you mix it with. So in traditional cultures, they would take turmeric, whole turmeric, dry it, grind it to the powder, but they would mix it with other things. So for humans, you would take milk, boil it at night, and drop, let's say, a teaspoon of turmeric in, because the turmeric was made more bioavailable by the fats, by the lipids, the fats in the milk, right? In powders, right? Or curry, which is a combination, turmeric was typically added to other spices, not only pepper, but other things that would increase the bioavailability. So in this case, turmeric, we've combined with other things to increase its bioavailability. Yes, so you can take turmeric, but typically a fat, makes it more bioavailable, if that answers your question, okay? And to those of you asking, where do you get MV25? Sorry about, I didn't put that up, but you can go to mv25.life. Now, I will be having an open house shortly, or a symposium, to talk about CytoSolve. We're going to be launching an Open Science Institute on CytoSolve. What that means is we have found a way over the last 16 years to do science faster and cheaper than the biggest academic institutions. So in order to really convert this to something that's valuable for all of you, what we're going to do is we're going to open up our scientific institute to the world. And you guys can propose scientific projects to us. You guys can directly fund it because, as you know, over the last 16 years, we've been doing a lot of science, a lot of publications, independent of the major establishment institutions, faster and cheaper. And we've been getting our stuff published in the major journals because our stuff is just very good. So we've decided that we're going to make our scientific capabilities accessible to humankind. So keep an eye out for the Open Science Institute brought to you by Truth, Freedom, and Health and our movement. And that's going to go in conjunction with the Systems Health Institute, which is training new systems health educators, as well as MDs and nurses who never learned a systems approach to the body. So it's quite exciting. As I mentioned in the beginning of this year, we're moving towards solutions. We've done a lot of work in exposing this establishment, the swarm creatures, as we call them. But now we're about solutions. You can go look at all my old videos where I'm exposing them with a lot of vitriol, and I'll continue to do that, okay? I'm not going to stop. But 80% of our effort is going to be to mobilize people with solutions. So this is a solutions. K9-701 is a solution for your pet. It's come from a lot of research, a lot of work by looking at many, many different ingredients and how they interact, okay? Karen Henneberry says, I know what is horrible regarding allopathic, which is Western medicine, so it'd be great to have real solutions. Yeah, look, Western medicine, to put it in context, is great if you're in a crisis, right? Something horrible occurs to you, God forbid, car accident, you need surgery, you need antibiotics, crisis. That's what it's great for. But it knows very, very little about treating the body as a system. So, my mission in life, given I've been trained in both worlds, is to really support both aspects, but really to put this in context. So starting this year and right away, in fact, this end of this month, for example, we're going to be hosting at the Systems Health Institute, and all of you are invited to a workshop, okay? And the workshop is a workshop. It's a 3-day intensive. You can get there's 1, 2-day, 3-day passes, but it's an intensive where you're really going to learn the science of systems, really the science of everything. And if you guys want to come to an introductory lecture on this, we're having that coming up, frankly, quite shortly, which is coming up this Friday. Let me bring that up so you guys can also attend that if you want. A lot of announcements. We're doing a lot of things here. So if you go to the events page here on vashiva.com, you'll see that we have the introductory lecture taking place, and it's open to the public, but you really understand that what we need to do to retrain, and I put up the link to that, we need to really retrain health professionals, and we need to also enable people to really understand how their body is a system. So it doesn't matter whether you're a nurse, an MD, yoga practitioner, chiropractors, all those people will benefit, but you'll really benefit from this, and I put the link right there, if you want to really start understanding how the body is a system. So the Systems Health Institute has been around since 2007. With all the work I've been doing on the political end, I had to put that on hold, but we're relaunching it because Truth, Freedom, Health demands that. truthfreedomhealth.com provides you all the tools to learn how to be a better citizen and an activist. Systems Health provides you to really understand the body of the system, and you can proceed on various types of certification programs we have, create your own systems health business. And then at CytoSolve, we're literally using all the technology we've created to change the world and deliver science, research faster and cheaper and make you a part of that, okay? So anyway, that's what we do. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. MV25, you can go look up K9-701, and we'll be putting this video up on YouTube, which we forgot to stream on shortly. All right, everyone. Thank you. Be well. Be the light. I hope this was valuable. And that's it. Thank you.